Hello, Wisconsin, and welcome to this week's edition of the Elite Money Market Update. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, and I'm joined in the studio by two members from Elite Retirement Group. We have the founder and CEO, Patrick Marcel, and financial advisor, Victor Kijewski. We've got a great show for you today. The title of today's show is Refinancing Your Retirement. We're going to get into what that means and, most importantly, what it could mean for you. But first up, Victor, Patrick, always a joy to be with you. And we were talking before the show started. There's some big updates happening in your house, right, Victor?
There's a big update. My son, Winston, who is 15 months old, has started walking a lot now, and it's a little more crazy at the house now. We actually don't have chairs at our kitchen table anymore because he'll climb up on, fall off, climb onto the kitchen table. So he's a little crazy boy right now, but it's great.
Yeah, it's a whole new world, I'm sure, right, to navigate.
Yeah. When I worked with his parents, when he was that age, him and his brother, I'll tell you what, I think he still got a really good kid there in Winston because they were like WWEing off the couch on each other, and it was crazy.
That's probably where he gets it from.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if you don't know and you're new to us, we like to have a lot of fun on this show, but this is a fun little side note. So Patrick, Victor's parents were clients of yours, Patrick, right? So you got to see Victor when he was young and all the way up, and here we are. It's amazing.
It's crazy.
Who knew?
Yeah. Graduated college, and my dad was like, hey, well, you should go interview with our financial advisor, and I did. And then the rest is history, 5 years later.
I know, going strong. It's awesome. Well, always a joy to be here with both of you. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, today we're going to be talking about refinancing your retirement. Here's the reality. Typically, folks think of refinancing when interest rates are low. And usually you might think of refinancing your home or refinancing your car or student loan debt, things of that nature. But recently, we've been in a higher interest rate environment. And what a lot of folks don't realize is that could be an opportune time for you to refinance your retirement. So let me start by asking, first of all, what does this phrase, refinance your retirement, even mean?
Well, it means that we're really creative and we come up with some really snappy sayings. What it really means is that we really want to look at the different investments that we have. And if you have an investment, especially a fixed investment from 5, 6, 7 years ago, perhaps now is a good time to look and say, hey, can I get a better interest rate? What we've been seeing a lot of folks do is putting money in CDs and money market, things like that. But those are really relatively short term in nature. We do know that most likely these interest rates will come back down again at some point down the road. So that just tells us that maybe we should be really entertaining how do we take advantage of the current interest rate environment and put ourselves in a better position long term. And I think that's why it's really important to look at all the different holdings that you have and say, hey, is there something I can do here that can put me in the better position than I was before? And sometimes that means you have to give up some time with having access to all the money, but a lot of times it just simply is going from maybe you can make 3% or you're making 3%, you might be able to make 6, 7, 8% on your investment. So it just is something to look at, take advantage of, because we're just in a different environment.
Right. So why should someone really consider this right now? Why is this such a time-sensitive conversation given where we are?
Yeah, I think it's sensitive to anybody who's retired to always be looking for opportunity to refinance things. Me and Patrick were just talking earlier about harvesting gain. So essentially how harvesting your gain in your portfolio works is when the market has a great year and the market's up 20%, well, we want to harvest some of that and reduce the risk, because obviously as you get older, you want to reduce the risk in retirement.
Right.
So if you can have a year where you make 20% on your equity holdings, and then you can shave off that 20% you made and lock it into something that's a guaranteed 6, 7%, whether it's a CD, MIGA, or whatever it may be, it's a great strategy. So you always have to be watching what the market is doing, and you want to be watching what interest rates are doing too, because they correlate a lot, and we have to make sure we're taking advantage of every situation we can.
For sure. And I would add that it's especially time sensitive for folks to pay attention to this right now, because we have been in a higher interest rate environment for a while now, but we have heard that the Fed may come down on rates throughout this year, starting to lower them. So Patrick, give us kind of a market update, if you will, on where we are with interest rates.
So one of the things that I do, and I really, really like to do for our clients, is I do a weekly update. And every week I put out a 5-minute video, and it just is an overview of what's going on this week, what went on last week, where the markets are moving. And really, one of the things that's very interesting is even though the Fed cut rates in 2024, we're actually seeing interest rates are still stubbornly high. And there's a couple different reasons for that. One of them is that the amount of debt we have as a nation on a whole, all by itself, is causing us to have to offer higher interest to partners that want to buy that debt. Even though we're AAA rated, we still have to offer a pretty high interest rate. So these rate cuts don't necessarily translate directly into seeing interest rates drop. But then the other side of it is that we've had this kind of weird, still actually pretty liquid as far as easy cash flow environment. And that's starting to change a little bit. So my anticipation would be is as they cut rates, I think they'll make some rate cuts this year. But as they cut rates, I really think you're going to start really feeling that now. One of the things to do if you're wanting to know where are rates going, what's going on, is look at the 10-year Treasury, look at the 2-year Treasury to get a good feel for what rates are. And I know they've been falling pretty good recently. And it's just something that I think overall is definitely a trend going forward. So there's some things to be aware on that end. And I guess the one way I look at it in my mind of taking advantage of where we're at now, if you're a farmer, and I've watched this series called Clarkson's Farm. If you've ever seen that, it's a hoot. But I also did learn something, that they check the seed on the crops to see if they're dry enough. What's the moisture content? And if you're waiting and the crop is mature and the moisture is good, and you say, I'm just going to leave it there because I got another good week, or hopefully it's not supposed to rain next week, and it does, you could just put yourself further behind. So when you have the opportunity in front of you, when the conditions are right, it makes a heck of a lot of sense to take advantage of it. And we just see a lot of folks kind of saying, I'm not sure I want to do that, or I don't want to look at it. And I really, as long as I've been doing this, some of the fixed investments, Victor alluded to the multi-year guaranteed annuity, MIGA he calls it, also the index annuity. I have not seen this high of caps on index annuities in my career. They're as good as they've ever been. And what it really means is it gives you an opportunity to have upside market participation, if you will. You're not in the market, but your interest is credited, like whatever the rate, it's relative to what the markets do or the indexes do. You just can capture a lot right now, and it just gives you tremendous opportunity. Just shaving some of those gains off, I think, is really important. But another thing I think I want to just throw out there is that regardless of political affiliation, right? We look at the markets, it doesn't really matter to us who's in power necessarily. The policies mean a lot, but also the market cycles. I would say it's very likely in the next couple of years we're going to see a significant market downturn, just simply because bull markets usually run 3 to 4 years and then they correct. And we're already at a pretty mature bull market. We could definitely see a correction. So take advantage of securing some of those funds now, and don't let them sit out there too long. Don't let that crop sit in the field too long.
As you were talking, translation is if someone were to be able to lock in at a higher interest rate now, before interest rates continue to be lowered, then they're going to be locked in, right? So when interest rates are lowered, that's not going to impact the investment, correct? 100%.
And with a lot of the fixed investments that we have where we lock into higher rates, usually we do some type of strategy where we're laddering those. So clients have money coming due every year. We're not just going to take all of your money and put it into a 10-year multi-year guaranteed annuity or a CD. We have to, another big thing we look at is liquidity too. But to kind of piggyback off of Patrick, what's really nice is, when you work with a financial advisor, they have this information that they can share with you, because it takes a long time to look into all this. Every Monday and Friday, me, Pat, Mike, and Matt too, we get together and have our advisor meetings where we sit down and talk about what interest rates are doing, what the market's doing, what we think is going to happen in the future. So if you don't have someone in your corner doing the research on this stuff, you're probably going to miss out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly right. Well, who of our viewers watching today, who would be an ideal candidate to be able to come in and sit down with you to see if refinancing their retirement was the right scenario for them?
Yeah, I would say if you're sitting at home and you're the type of person that you're a shopper, so you want to get the best deal and you're open-minded, you're probably a really great fit for looking at this, because I'm a shopper. I do research. I look at everything. I'm going to check the prices out. I want to match. I want to compare. I want to do everything I can to make sure I'm getting the very best deal I can. And if you're like that, if you want to make sure you're getting the very best that you can possibly get, you're probably really an ideal person to look into this, because you're going to have the right mindset to say, hey, you know what, I see the opportunity that they're sharing with me and I want to take advantage of it.
And the best way that you can do that is by connecting with the team. And there's two ways you can do so. Basically, what you're going to be able to do is receive a complimentary written financial plan from the team of Elite Retirement Group. This is for no cost, no charge, no obligation. It's simply an invitation to have a conversation to see how they can help and serve you and see if refinancing your retirement might be the right thing for you to be doing. You can connect by either calling the number on the bottom of your screen, 833-856-1392, or if you'd rather connect online, you can simply pull out your smartphone, open up the camera app, scan that QR code that you see there down in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That will take you to a landing page, ask you a few short, simple questions, and then a member of the team from Elite Retirement Group will reach out to connect with you to schedule your complimentary meeting that way as well. We've got a lot more to get into on today's topic of refinancing your retirement. Stay with us.
We were more of product type orientated company where it was, here's the products and here's how you position them. And we felt they were very good products. So, we thought we were doing some really great things for folks. But then we really started to evolve. I went out and got a designation, RICP, which is the Retirement Income Certified Professional designation. And what happened is that I really started focusing on more of the planning aspect. To this day, our goal, our focus for our clients really is bring everything together for them, have one place they can go, whether it's legal or whether it's taxes. We're not attorneys, we're not accountants, but we have resources and we help pull everything together for them, really quarterback their plan. But a plan really isn't just created and then look at it and hopefully everything falls into place. It's a living, breathing document. It really does change with retirement because there's things that come up we don't know about. Our health could change, our financial situation could change. We could have a child who's in need that needs money that we have to help them out. It's a guidepost is really what it is. In Wisconsin, we have winter roads sometimes that it's hard to see what lane you're in. But on the side of the roads, on the highway, you have these poles, and they're called delineator poles. And they just basically help you understand, are you on the road or not yet? And really, we're kind of the delineator poles for our clients where we're helping them make sure that they're really on the right path still.
Welcome back, Wisconsin. You're watching the Elite Money Market Update. I'm Kristen Oakley here with both Patrick and Victor from Elite Retirement Group, where today we are discussing the concept of refinancing your retirement, what that means, and most importantly, what it could mean for you. Before we dive back in, I want to go back to something that you shared at the beginning of today's show, and that's that each week you offer an update, a market update. And I know some of our viewers, they would love to have more of you throughout their week, not just during the TV show. So let our viewers know how they would be able to connect with you and receive your weekly video series.
Yeah, well, all you have to do is just reach out to our office. You can go to our website and just drop an email address you're okay with that going to. I can't actually believe how many times prospective clients have reached out to me personally and said, I love that weekly update. It's quick, it's succinct, it's put in terms that I understand. And just keep doing it. So it's all you do is drop us your email, one that you're happy with us sending that to. We'll send it to you. And if you want to opt out, no problem. You opt out, we take you off the list, no problem.
And that website address is eliteretirementgroup.com. So easy to remember too, right?
Easy to remember, yep.
All right, perfect. Well, back to the discussion at hand on refinancing your retirement. Really what we're talking about is potentially putting you in a better financial situation for your future. And at the end of the day, guys, better is just better, isn't it? That's what it's about.
That's true, 100%. Whether it's better income, better lifestyle, better retirement. And that's really what we do and what we focus on during the first visit we have with folks is we review everything they have going on and we figure out what we can improve and what we can make better. Sometimes those are small changes, sometimes those are big changes. But obviously we want to optimize your retirement and allow you to do everything you want to do. So that's really what we focus on, letting folks live a better retirement.
Now I do know, because we've talked about this before, that sometimes you'll meet with folks who actually already have a plan in place and they just want that second opinion, which again is a really smart thing to do. We always encourage people to get a second opinion on their situation. What if someone comes in, you offer that second opinion, you're looking through everything, and they're on track, and you're going, okay, this is great. You're already in the best position possible. What does the conversation look like at that point?
Yeah, the thing that's really interesting is usually I call them the researchers, the people that are like myself. You do a ton of research. You want to learn as much as possible about your situation so that you can make good decisions. And when somebody comes in and they've got a lot of good things going, and maybe there's a few small things we can help with, we'll make those suggestions and recommendations, and then we just say, hey, go ahead, go take those, do the best you can with them, because that plan that we provide to you, at the end of the day, our goal with that is to put something in your hands that can better your life, make you better in retirement, give you the better lifestyle, give you the better income, whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish. We want to try to make sure that you have the very best we can possibly deliver to you, and we're going to do our very best. So that is kind of the whole idea behind that plan. And if you have everything in place for the most part, but just need to make a few tweaks, we'll make that recommendation and say, hey, we appreciate your time. We appreciate you letting us get to know you and doing this work for you. And all we really ask at the end of the day is just say something nice about us. If somebody says, hey, that elite retirement group, they're putting on a workshop for for Social Security or taxes or whatever. What do you think? Well, I had a good experience there. That really goes a long ways. I really think that's really, really important. It's about doing the right thing for people, and over time, it'll work itself out. And I think that's really a secret ingredient to the success we have is always doing the right thing for folks. And I know that my guys, Victor, Matt, and Michael, they do the right things for the clients they're meeting with, whether they're current clients or prospective clients. And that is so important, because it's like karma, it's going to come back.
Right. And I know you have that mentality, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
Yep.
So, I mean, if someone's on track, you're going to encourage them to keep doing what they're doing. But I'm curious, how often do you find that that's the case versus how often are you able to find areas for improvement, or in the context of today's conversation, opportunities for folks to actually refinance their retirement?
I would say almost always there's at least something we can improve upon, or at least give a couple tips on. It's funny, I recently had a seminar where we talked about taxes in the market, and there was a lady there who I had a long conversation with, and she said the only reason she set a visit after the event was because I said you can't get a second opinion from the person who gives you the first. And she was currently working with an advisor, and she thought she had everything set up perfectly, from her income plan to investments and everything. But she wanted another set of eyes on her plan, and we actually ended up figuring out a way to save her quite a bit of money in the tax section of her retirement plan. So there's always, more opinions out there, and you have to make sure you get those opinions, because if you don't, you could be missing something, even if you think you have everything set up perfectly.
Right, for sure. And again, that's why it's so valuable to have that second set of eyes. It could just be a small tweak, a small change, but wouldn't you like the peace of mind knowing that yes, you are on track? Or if you're a good shopper, like I know I try to be, you want to look at all those options out there and see if there's any way you could put yourself in a better situation. This is why the team of Elite Retirement Group would love to have that complimentary conversation with you and build you a complimentary written financial plan. 833-856-1392 is the number to call, or again, you're welcome to scan that QR code and that will get you connected as well. We'll be back with more after this.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life, and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back to the Elite Money Market Update, where today we've been discussing the concept of refinancing your retirement. We shared with you that the team of Elite Retirement Group stays on the pulse of what's happening out in the markets. And again, if you are interested in receiving their weekly video market update, you can do that by simply visiting the website. That's eliteretirementgroup.com. One of the other things that we wanted to talk about today is Social Security. And I know that a lot of folks are asking this question, is Social Security secure? Is it going to be there for me? And there was a recent report that was put together by the Board of Trustees from the Social Security Administration, and it stated that it appears the fund will be depleted earlier than expected. They are now estimating that the fund will remain solvent through the year 2033. So, friends, what do you have to say about this news?
Retire quick. No, I think it's a reality check for a lot of people. I think that if you're going to be looking at retirement and you're just relying on Social Security, probably want to come up with a different strategy. It's not going away. I don't think it's going away. They're going to make some changes to it. There's no doubt about that. It's just not a long-term viable type of strategy the way it's set up currently. Now, the thing that's frustrating is all the promises, right? That you're putting money in for your retirement down the road. It's not a tax. That'll be there. Guess what? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
What you're relying on now are other people putting money in the system to get money out for yourself. I think what I've heard recently, and I've been reading a bunch about this, is that the legislators are looking at doing what's called means testing, which basically what that means is they're going to look at your income and they're going to look at your assets, and that's going to have a bearing on your Social Security. They also are looking at potentially, for those that are not drawing yet, moving the retirement ages up so that it takes a little bit longer. You have to be a little bit older before you can draw Social Security. So I don't believe it'll go away. I just want to be clear about that. But I do believe that there will be some changes, and quite frankly, I think we want to make sure that we're well prepared for those coming down the road at us. Now, none of us know exactly what that'll be, but if we do a really good job of planning life without Social Security, we're probably going to be okay, and we're going to be in a really good shape for life with Social Security or some sort of reduced benefit. Those that are drawing, I don't know if you're going to see a big hit when it comes to Social Security, because it's really tough to take money away from somebody who's already receiving that.
Right.
Whatever political party does that will probably be rung up in the streets.
I was going to say, no one wants to be responsible for making that call, right?
No, absolutely not.
But I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I can also hear viewers out there going, this is really frustrating. I mean, you almost wish that they would say, here, how about we pay you back everything you've already paid into the system? I mean, I know I'd take that deal right now, right? Like, that would be a pretty good deal, but it doesn't work that way. And so, I mean, yeah, how do you help folks navigate this whole conversation of, like, I don't know what it's going to be in the future?
Yeah, so really, I mean, it's the rules of the game we have to play, right? We have to pay into Social Security, but like Patrick said, I think there are going to be some changes. Like myself, I'm not even planning to draw Social Security. If I get it, it'll be a bonus to my retirement. But, you know, we've talked on previous shows, we've done whole shows on Social Security and how there's 500 different ways to draw Social Security. And it almost seems like nowadays, you're not getting out as much as you put into it. Unlike Ida Mae Fuller, who we've talked about before, where she paid in about $24 and got out $24,000.
Yeah, the first recipient of a Social Security check, she made out like a bandit with that deal, right?
And it almost seems like it's flipped nowadays. So you really have to, you know, tie your Social Security into your financial plan to maximize it as much as you possibly can. And yeah, if we all live till 120 years old, we might get all of our money out of it, but most likely we're not going to.
Right.
So what we do is help, people optimize their Social Security and get as much out of it as they possibly can.
And you mentioned that keyword optimize. I know we've talked about this on previous shows, but for viewers who might be new to us, why do you not talk about maximizing someone's Social Security? Why is it more important to look at optimizing it?
Well, when you look at an optimization strategy, you're really looking at a strategy that takes into consideration long-term approach. So if you're looking at the maximum you can get out, then you're betting that you're going to live a long time to get the benefit, the biggest benefit, or to be optimized, if you will. Optimize really comes down way more to when should you draw it from a tax standpoint, what does it do relative to your other assets. Taxes are a huge part of it, right? We've talked about on other shows that if you go to elitetaxtest.com, okay, and you can put your information there, see what the government has planned for you for how much tax you're going to have to pay in versus maybe some other strategies and how much you could possibly save. So there's different ways that you can go about and you can address it, but really optimization is not just about getting the biggest paycheck per month, it's getting the best benefit over time.
Yeah, for sure. You know, you mentioned this. I want to make sure we put it up on the screen for our viewers. This is the retirement tax bill calculator, that proprietary software that you're able to use completely free from Elite Retirement Group. There it is, elitetaxtest.com. You can also scan that QR code, and as Patrick said, you'll be able to put in some basic information, no strings attached, and see the difference between the government's tax plan for you if you do nothing versus how much less you could pay in taxes if you enact some tax saving strategies. So always want to shout out that important resource to get folks connected with you as well. Well, my gosh, we've covered a lot of ground on today's show talking about refinancing someone's retirement. What do you want to leave our viewers with? I know we've covered a lot of different subjects today.
Yeah, I definitely want to just implore you to think about your situation. This is so important to make sure you get it right. You know, Victor's hit on so many good topics today. It's been a lot of good material, but in order to be able to bring it all home and see how this actually applies to your specific situation, you really need to sit down with somebody who does this for a daily living, for what they do every single day. And they're able to go through your situation, give you insight. And a lot of times we draw our insight from other people we've helped and mistakes that they made before they came to us and things that we changed and we did differently. And we saw that work out very effectively and very efficiently for you. So if you want to take advantage of that tax calculator, going to elitetaxtest.com, or if you want to go to our website at eliteretirementgroup.com and schedule a time to visit with either myself, Michael, or Victor, that'd be awesome. Or you can just pick up the phone and give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. We want to make sure that we're doing the very best, putting our best foot forward and helping you any way we possibly can.
And then real quickly, Victor, for viewers who are new to us, remind them of your office locations.
Yes, we have 2 office locations right now, the brand new office, which we're super excited to be in Plover, and then we have another office in Cronenwetter as well. So those are our 2 locations in central Wisconsin. We'd love to see anybody who watched the show today just to see if we can help them improve their retirement and help them going forward.
Wonderful. Victor, Patrick, thank you so much. We love you, Wisconsin. Until next time, be educated, be empowered, and most of all, be prepared.